Hi everybody, you've all been doing brilliantly with your maths this week, but I thought we could do I'll make a little optional video for you for some more area model practice, because for me this is an incredibly important stage, and I don't want to move on if we're still struggling with some aspects of it, because as I said right at the beginning, the most common mistakes, I said what they would be when we were multiplying by our 10, and that's what I'm seeing consistently, because it's what I see all the time. So we're just going to take it a step back. I thought a lot of people might be jumping straight into what they're used to, so you're going straight into a column method, when actually that's good. It might have got us through some questions up until now, but when we go to move on, I'm worried that mathematical understanding isn't there. So I feel like one reason we might be avoiding using an area model is because we're not 100% confident with it, which is absolutely fine. Here is a video for us to go through it. So let's start with something like 12 multiplied by 4. Now this is something most of us could do in our heads. We could do our 4 times by 2 is 8, and then our 4 times by 10 is 40, so the answer is going to be 48. As I say with most things, apart from in an assessment at the end of the year, the answer is not particularly important. I want to see your method. That's what's important to me. So what I'm going to do when I'm writing out my area method, I'm going to take my 12 and I'm going to split my 12 up into a 10 and a 2. Because if we have a look, we've got our 10s and our 1s, and 12 is like that, one lot of 10 and 2 1s. So let's go here. We've got our 10. I'm going to use a different colour, and I'm going to put my 2 there. That is my 12. If it helps, I'll put the 12 there. Yeah, that's our 12. I'm going to rub it out just because I don't want to confuse things. I don't want to put too many numbers on. So my first step is to split my number, or to partition my number. So I've partitioned it into 10 and 2. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to take my other number here. I will do this as a grey, hopefully we can see it, and I'm going to put a 4 here. Maybe I need to make it a little bit thicker. 4. Okay, I'm going to use a lovely ruler. All I'm going to do, it doesn't have to be the neatest thing in the world, because this is just for us to do our workings out. So hopefully we've been able to partition this number. So we've got our 12, and actually I need to partition this out. So hopefully you can see our grid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 4 and I'm going to multiply that by 10. 4 multiplied by 10 is, of course, 40. And now I'm going to do my 4 multiplied by 2, and that is going to give me 8. Yeah? So we can all do this. And then my next step, I'm going to do 40 plus 8 equals 48. Yeah? So I know that 12 multiplied by 4 is 48. I'm going to leave that there. I'm just going to drop down. I'm going to choose another 2-digit number, and I'm going to go for 62 multiplied by 3. Yeah, I'm going to colour code it again, just so we can easily identify what's happening. So what I want you to do, I want you to write this out. Write this number sentence out right now. Pause the video, write it out. Now if you can do that in your head, well done. that's fine. But what I would like you to do is I would still like you to go through these steps. So have a think, what am I going to partition this 62 into? I'm going to split it into its tens and its ones. And it's 6 tens, which is 60, and 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split it up into 60, which is this part, and 2, which is this part. So that's what I want you to do. Brilliant, well done. So next I'm going to go for my 3. So this 3 here, I'm going to put that 3 just here. Well done if you got that far. So that's us laying it out. Well done. So I'm just drawing this out. I'm going to go slow just so we can keep up. I really don't want you to rush this, and if you need to go over the same calculation just to see what I'm doing, please do. So my first step, tell yourself what the first step is. I'm going to take my 3 and I'm going to multiply it by 60. So what is 60 multiplied by 3? Well, I know that 3 or 6 multiplied by 3 is 18. So I can go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Now I'm holding up my fingers now, so just remember to keep count. So I know that 3 times 6 is 18. Therefore, if 60 is 10 times larger, I can also make 18 10 times larger. And 3 times 60 is 180. Now, have a think about what my next step is going to be. I'm going to take my 3 and I'm going to multiply that by 2. What is 3 times 2? It is 6. So what's my next step? My next step is to take my 180 and I'm going to add my 6. I'm going to do 180 add 6 is 186. So I know that 62 times by 3 is 186. Well done if you get that. Let's try another one. So I'm going to write out, actually I'm going to go sideways because I've run out of space. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to write out the calculation 45 multiplied by, what am I going to multiply it by? I'm going to multiply it by 3. Yeah? I'm going to colour code this. If you want to colour code your maths as well, feel free. I like to work with colours because it helps me to organise things. So I don't want you to do this calculation. I want you to do the calculation 32 multiplied by 4. So you're going to get a different answer to me, but you're still going to do the same method as me. So when I partition my number, you're going to partition your number. So I'm going to take my 45 and I'm going to split it into 40 and 5. You're going to take your 32 and have a think about what you're going to partition that into. You're going to partition that into 30 and 2. So I'm going to write mine out. I'm going to do 40 and you're going to put 30. And I'm going to put 5. So yours should have 30 and 2. Next up, I'm going to take my 3. I'm just going to put my 3 in. And then I'm going to draw out my grid. This just, again, just a little organisational. It's better to use a ruler, it's not essential in this case, because you are showing your workings out. So it doesn't matter which one you start with. I'm starting with 3 times 40. You're going to start with 4 times 30. 3 times 40. So I'm going to do 3 times 4 is 12. And it's actually 10 times larger, so it's actually 120. So you're going to do your first one. Then you're going to do your second one. You're going to do 4 times 2, and I'm going to do 3 times 5. My 3 times 5 is 15. Have a think about what yours is. My next step is going to be to add these together. I'm going to do 120, add 15. Now, you can add it out the same way as me. You might just be able to add them up. So I know that is 0 add 5 is 5, 2 add 1 equals 3, 1 add nothing is 1. 135. So my answer is 135. I really hope your answer was 128. If yours was 128, I think you might have mastered this stage. So I'm going to write down some calculations for you. And what I want you to do is, I want you to have a go at that. I'm going to leave this on screen actually, because I think that's important for you to see. I'm going to write down some calculations for you. Now you can have a go at these. Take as long as you need. I don't want you to use a column method to multiply these. I want you to use an area model. This is purely area model. The only column I've used is for addition. You can use that. But the multiplication, I want you to do the area model, even if you find the other way easier. So I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you 54 multiplied by 3. I'm going to give you 21 multiplied by 4. I'm going to give you 32 multiplied by 5. Give these 3 a go. Remember, partition that number. And then work them out individually. Add them up at the end. Give that a go. Those of you that have got that, so those of you who have understood that, nice, it means we're ready to move on a little bit further. So what I'm going to do is we're now going to look at a question that uses double digits. So I'm going to do 132 multiplied by 23. You'll notice that I'm keeping my digits low. If you're choosing your own calculations, I suggest you keep them within multiplications that are easy, multiplication times tables that you find easier. And we're working on speed. So have a think back to what we did before. We partitioned our first number, so we can partition this first number as well. What we can partition this into, we can partition it into 100. We can partition it into 100. And 30 and 2. Yeah? For 100, we got 30, we got 2. Also, what we can do is we can take our 23 and we can multiply 23. We can partition 23 into 20 and 3. Now again, a lot of you might go straight for the column method. I really don't want you to use the column method here. I want you to use this just for this activity, just so we're learning how to use it. Ooh, we've changed colour halfway through. So hopefully you're at a stage where I'm at here. We've got lots of calculations we can do now. So I'm going to start with the simpler ones, just to show it doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to start with 3 times 2. Now, my 3 times 2 I know is 6. 6 is going to go here, because if I've got my 3 times 2. Now I'm going to do 20 times 2. What is 20 times 2? 20 times 2 is 40. Then I'm going to go to my 3. I'm going to do 3 times 30, and I know that is 90. equal 90. I'm going to do 3 times 100, and that is 300. Now it gets slightly trickier here when we've got 20 times 100. Now I know that 20 is 2 lots of 10, so I can times it by 2, then times it by 10. So what I'm going to do is 100 times 2 is 200, times by 10 is 2000. And of course I'm going to do 20 times 30. I know 2 times 3 is 6. Then I'm going to make it 100 times larger. 2 times 3 is 6, so I must have 600. And that is because 2 times 30 is 60, but it's actually 20. It's 10 times larger, so we make 60 10 times larger. So now I've got a whole range of numbers. I can add these in any way that I want to. And I should, as long as I add all 6 of these numbers, all 6 of these, you should get a correct answer. So let's give it what I'm going to do first. Before I do that, I'm just going to make my life a little bit easier. I'm just going to add my 300 and my 600 in my head and put them both into 900. Then I'm going to do my 90 and my 40, and that's 130. So I'm going to do 2000, add, I might as well just do it manually the whole way, just out of character. Ignore what I just said. 2000, add 600, add 300, add 90, add 40, add 6. Now that's a lot of numbers to add, which is why I started to add them up, but that's not the skill we're focusing on. So let's add this up. We've obviously got all of their zeros, then add the 6 is 6. All of their zeros, then 9 and 4 is 13. 6 and 3 and 1 is 10. And 2 add 1 is 3. So it should be 3036. I'm actually going to Google this just to check the answers. 132 multiplied by 23 equals 3036. So that is correct. Yeah, well done if you are able to follow along with that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to do a 2-digit by 2-digit, 2-digit by 2-digit. So I'm going to have, I can't go over there, so let's go over here. Right, I'm going to do 24 multiplied by 31. 24 multiplied by 31. Now, 2 numbers to partition here. I'm going to take my 24 and split that into 20 and 4. 20 and 4. I'm going to take my 31 and partition that into 30 and 1. I'm going to get my ruler out. Lovely and quick. Brilliant. Now it doesn't matter which of these boxes we work out first. It might be easy to do the 2 ones. Yeah, 1 times 20 is of course 20. 1 times 4 is of course 4. 30 times 4 might be slightly more difficult for some of us, but we can do 3 times 4 and then make it 10 times larger. 3 times 4 is 12, 10 times larger is 120. Now, 30 times 20, 30 times 2 is 60, so 30 times 20 must be 600. Now, all I need to do now is just add all of these numbers up that are inside my grid. Yeah? So it should be 600, add 120, add 20, whoa, add 20, add 4. Add them up, all those zeros and the 4. 0, 2 and 2 is 4, 6 and 1 is 7. 744. Now that does look, if I estimated this, it would come up something very similar. So hopefully you are able to follow along with that. So what I'm going to do now, I can't go down, I'm going to go here. I'm going to answer the question 56 multiplied by 42. But what I want you to follow along with 23 multiplied by 12. So when I partition 56, you're going to partition 23. You're answering this one. I just feel like it's a good for you to practice along on your own one, rather than just copy what I'm doing. If you want to, and you want to copy my one down and copy all the method that I do that absolutely. And you might want to go back and do that one on your own. So I'm going to partition 56 into 50 and 6. And I'm going to partition 42 into 40 and 2. Now for the sake of speed, I'm not going to use the ruler. But you definitely should. No, that is not me at all, and that's why you should use the ruler. So it doesn't matter which order we work these out in, we're going to end up adding them all up in the end. So I'm just going to start with what I find most easiest. 2 times 50 is of course 100. Well done if you got that. So you will be doing over here, you would be doing whichever ones. So you might probably find 2 times 3. 2 multiplied by 6 is 12. 4 multiplied by 6, 40 multiplied by 6. Well, I can do 4 times 6, which I know is 24. Make that 10 times larger, must be 240. Finally, I've got 40 times 50. I know that 4 times 5 is 20. I'm going to make that 100 times larger because they're both multiples of 10. And I'm going to get 2,000. So you can see I've multiplied these two together. I've multiplied these two together. And that's given me this one and this one. Yeah. And then I've multiplied these two together to get this one, and these two together to give me this one. Yeah. Now I'm just going to add them up. 2,000, add 240, add 100, add 12. Add all of these up. 2, 5, 3, 2. Now I'm going to check it with a calculator. There's nothing wrong with that because again we are only practicing. How do I clear that off? So I'm going to do 56 multiplied by 42 equals 2,352. Now I'm going to quickly go through this 23 over here, just so you can check your answers. I hope that you have an answer at this point. If you don't, I would recommend you go back, follow my steps, but with your numbers. But if not, here we go. 23, I'm going to swap into 20 and 3. And 12, I'm going to put into 10 and 2. Yeah, I'm going to draw my grid out. Apologies for the jumping all around. I've not worked out how to stop that yet. So I'm going to do 2 times 3, and that's going to go into this box. I'm going to do 2 times 20, and that's going to go into this box. I'm going to do 10 times 3 is, of course, 30. And I'm going to do 10 times 20. Now, 10 times 2 is 20, times by 10 is 200. Well done if you got that. Now I'm going to add them up. I'm going to do 200, add 40, add 30, add 6. So we've got 6, 4 and 3 is 7, 276. It looks right to me if I estimate it, but I want to double check. So I'm going to do 23 multiplied by 12 equals 276, yes. Well done if you've got these two. If you haven't, well done for giving it a go, because you've made it this far. But it's really important we get this skill down. Please don't try and go back to the column method. We will work to that, but I really would like us to get the area method first. So what you can do with this, you can practice. I'm going to leave these up actually like that, and just in this middle bit here, I'm going to write some calculations down for you to complete. So I'm going to do 123 multiplied by 45. I'm going to do 543 multiplied by 21. I'll be interested to see if these two are related. I'm going to do a random one. I'm going to do 3, 2, 1 multiplied by 12. Work these out, give them a go. If you want to do some more, please feel free. But I would check them with a calculator, your answers, but please use the area model, not a column method. Good luck, and if you have found this video useful, I really want to hear about it, because it shows that you're doing a little bit extra, because you've identified, they're really hard, but you've identified somewhere and you've really focused on it, so well done to yourself. Give it a go, and I really would like to hear if this video has helped.